Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, as we have folks joining us from all over the world today. And welcome to today's session, the Innovation Preview, which is the future of Tableau. Now, before we begin, I want to cover off on a few quick notes about our virtual platform. So today's session, of course, will be recorded, so you'll have access to that and a link via email. And please note that all of our slides will advance automatically throughout the presentation. So to enlarge the slides, click the Enlarge Slides button located in the right-hand corner of your presentation window. And should you need any technical assistance, click the Help widget, which is located on the bottom left-hand corner of your console. And we've also added some additional resources, which are available in the Resources window to the right of the slides. There you can find additional related content. So with that, let's get started. Welcome to our first ever Innovation Preview. We have very exciting announcements for you today that's not only going to show you what it is, why it's different, but how it works. And we are going to go under the hood in our technology and dive deep into our future innovation. And because we are showing and discussing our future roadmap, please remember to make all your purchasing and buying decisions based on what is currently available today. Now, I'm Elizabeth Maxson, Chief Marketing Officer for Tableau, and I'm so excited to spend time with you today. And I'm joined by our amazing team, Ryan Aytay, Southard Jones, Matthew Miller, and a special guest, our Tableau visionary, Adam Nico. But first, I want to thank all of you, our customers, our partners, employees, and specifically our Tableau community. We appreciate the time that you're spending with us today because you are the true inspiration behind all of our innovation. In fact, our Tableau community is at the heart of everything that we do. In fact, we have seen tremendous growth over the years. We have now over 4 million Tableau public profiles, over 10 million Tableau public visits, and our user groups, which is global, you're all over the world. We have 23,000 members. And our community contributes to amazing content, over 500 blogs, and we continue to support teachers and students, where we have more than 3 million focusing on data skills. And we've seen this growth over our last 5 years of innovation and double-digit growth just within this last year. So very excited about that. And also, being part of Salesforce has helped us scale even further. First is leveraging Salesforce Einstein Trust Layer. This is the most trusted enterprise gateway to generative AI models. And a big part of this is your data stays your data with Tableau. No sensitive data ever goes to GI models. Data is never retained by third-party models. And all responses are double-checked for accuracy, bias, and toxicity. And this is ensuring that responses are ethical and compliant. And then we also have Data Cloud, what puts your data to work for your customers. It is deeply embedded in the Einstein 1 platform, which means any external data lake or warehouse can now drive action workflows inside your CRM. And Data Cloud is more than just bringing that data together. It's about bringing entire organizations together around the customer to improve experiences and drive growth. And then we also have Hyperforce. Hyperforce is Salesforce's modern trusted cloud infrastructure. It's the leading cloud infrastructure on the market, serving thousands of the most security and regulation conscious customers in the world. And it provides world-class scalability, security, privacy, and trust with AWS. And it'll allow you to run Tableau all over the world with 16 pods globally, including new data centers in the United States, Canada, Singapore, Germany, and Indonesia in the second half of this year. Now, over the last 12 months, we have shipped more than 140 features and enhancements to our products in areas such as AI, data, and modeling, and analytic experiences. We've continued to increase the extensibility of Tableau with the features you know and love, like VizQL, data service for Viz extensions, and really pushing the boundaries of how you can use Tableau. And we're making it easier to get engaged with data, with our local file saving and desktop public edition that we announced at Tableau Conference, and AI assistance in prep and catalog. And in just our last release, 24.2, we added 10 new community ideas that have become features like multi-fact relationships and spell check in web authoring. But we have so much more to look forward to. We have Dreamforce coming in San Francisco on September 17th through the 19th. We're also hosting our first ever Data Fam Europe event. This is taking TC to EMEA and a new event that we're trying out right in central London. And guess what else is back? Our Data Dev Day. The agenda is dedicated to those who work and play on the Tableau developer platform. And we're going to join that program today to receive the invite. We also have some amazing user group events coming up as well, all that you can attend virtually no matter where you are. We have the Tableau Public User Group that is going to shine a spotlight on 2 of our 2024 Vizzy Award winners. And we also have one of our newest groups, which is the Tableau and AI User Group that's taking place on August 22nd. And that's going to focus on Einstein Copilot and the Tableau Gen AI journey. And if you're new to Tableau and looking to connect with one of the largest user groups, start with our monthly analytics user group. This is the place if you just want to learn how to start exploring analytics in Tableau. And that meeting is on September 26th. Now, we do have user groups all over the world, and you can find out more of those at usergroups.tableau.com/events. Now, with that, I'd like to take you into the future and pass it over to our CEO and president of Tableau, Ryan Aytay.
All right. Hello, everyone. And thank you, Emax, for the intro. Want to also just reiterate a lot of gratitude. And I really do appreciate everyone spending time with us today, our partners, our customers, our employees, and of course, our amazing data fam. It's really been an amazing, few years. And in fact, we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary as part of Salesforce. And a lot has really happened since then. I also like to think about our industry. Tableau recently celebrated its 20-year anniversary. And if we think about where the industry is and sort of where it's going, powered in this sort of AI revolution, we see a lot of things happening and we see a lot of evolution happening. And I think that's something we want to go on the journey with you all together. And so when I think about, what does it mean in terms of the evolution? Well, we're seeing people's expectations for data and analytics. We're seeing these things change over time. And we're seeing, and what do we mean by this when we talk about, people's expectations are changing? Well, if you think about, really where most people work, they work in various applications. They work in applications, of course, like Slack, or in applications like Salesforce, right? The world's #1 CRM. They also work in places like Workday or various productivity tools. And, that has been the case and that will be the case as we move forward. But if you think about our industry, whether it be, you think about it as analytics or you think about it as business intelligence, your insights in many cases tend to live in other places, whether they be living in Tableau or somewhere else. Those insights ultimately, you have to leave where you work and you have to go fetch your insight, if you will, to get your job done, to make a decision. And that is really, the world that we've lived in, which ultimately I think has become in some ways more and more complicated in an environment where we see more data, right? More data, more fragmentation, more and more data being stored in different places. We like to think of this as data is trapped ultimately in various warehouses and lake houses. And it could be on premise, it could be on, in the cloud. It doesn't really matter. But we know that companies are trying to make decisions and take action on their data. And so when we think about, where is the future going, it really comes down to the fact that people want data, of course, in real time, but also intelligent insights in the flow of where they work, right? So in the flow of wherever I work, if I work in Slack, I want to be able to get these insights in real time presented to me that are relevant for me. If I work in Salesforce, it's the same experience. And I think that really ultimately can be powered by AI in this new revolution. And so when I think about that, it really is what we've been focused on now for quite a while. And when I talk about that, I think about and want to tell you about some of the things we've done more recently with things like Tableau Pulse, right? Which Tableau Pulse we made generally available roughly 5 months ago. I'm very excited to say it's one of our fastest growing products ever with the Tableau in the Tableau business. We now have over 5,000 customers using the product. And it's all about delivering these trusted insights in the flow of work, these intelligent insights. Now, I'm also very excited to say that we're evolving Tableau Pulse, and tomorrow we'll launch what we call Pulse for Salesforce. So what is Pulse for Salesforce? Well, Pulse for Salesforce is all about, let's say, someone who's using Sales Cloud, and they want to get, let's say, out-of-the-box metrics like win rates or pipeline. We will deliver that now with Pulse for Salesforce starting tomorrow. So very excited about that. Additional to that, we are also excited to talk about Einstein Copilot for Tableau, which is also becoming generally available starting tomorrow. So this is a bit of, where we are, and of course, an indication of where we're going with the future of Tableau and what I'm so excited to talk to you about today. But before I do, it's also important to just reference a few of our great customers. When I think of customers like Merck, our good friend Waleed here, who has been doing such an amazing job of driving Pulse across his business to make more informed decisions, to make more proactive decisions, and to bring his teams together who may not be data experts, but need data in the flow of work to get their jobs done. And I think Merck is a great example of this. Others I can think of that come to mind would be John Lewis Partners, another fantastic customer based out of the UK, which leverages Tableau Pulse and all of Tableau to drive, let's say, some of their returns processing in a proactive way, to be data-driven. And so they're all driving more efficiencies, better decisions. They're connecting with their customers in ways they haven't been able to in the past. And ultimately, this is really where we're landing with Pulse. And, to have a little bit of also, I would say, fun, but also to illustrate some of this, we wanted to show you a quick video.
So how are we looking on Q2 renewals?
Customer churn is high. Well, I mean, it's low. I'll circle back on ACV by EOD.
Okay, who's excited about our quarterly readout? First up, Kiri. How's campaign performance?
Great. I mean, best campaign ever. So, Bill, which sector has the highest sales?
Sure, let me pull up that report. No, data needs refreshing.
That's from last quarter.
Have you guys checked your pulse? Because with Tableau Pulse, you get all the insights you need right when you need them.
I knew what Tableau Pulse was. I just didn't know if you two knew what Tableau Pulse was. And hey, renewals are solid and churn is down 32%.
And engagement is up. Our latest ads are driving 20% more leads.
Manufacturing is our strongest sector.
Let's target those customers on our next campaign.
Brilliant.
Good work, team. Yeah!
We did it.
Get all your teams on the same page with AI-powered insights. Have you checked your pulse today?
We are smart.
What I want to do now, though, is go a little deeper and talk a little bit more about what we're hearing from our customers, from our partners, and of course, our community members. And what we hear on a very consistent basis is really these four common themes that keep coming up. And they are more and more present in this world that we're living in now, of course, with generative AI and where we're all headed. And when I think about these challenges, I hear the following. I hear that, in many cases, insights are overlooked, they're missed. And what that means ultimately is you may be making decisions in your business without the right information, which, for me, I would classify that as not a great situation. If I go further, the other thing we hear often is that, users don't always trust the data. They don't trust the data or the insight that kind of follows the data. And I think when I'm sure many of you out there, if I could see a show of hands, I would ask this question, but ultimately who's received a dashboard, right, or a visualization, and you've said, well, I don't really trust the data. I don't know, show me the data source. Who created this? This is a common problem that we hear consistently in our industry, and I think is something that we want to focus on. The next one has to do with the fact of what I mentioned before, which is more and more data is being, whether it's brought into the cloud or brought into various companies, just because there's more activity happening. And of course, more data means more fragmentation. It's not unified, it's not harmonized. And it's ultimately, going to be a scenario where, especially if I give you an example of customers I've spoken to have said we have thousands upon thousands of data warehouses and data lakehouses, or we're spending millions and millions of dollars on solving data problems every year. This is something that, is really not surprising actually to me that it's coming up as a challenge. The other thing we hear about is this concept of reusability and the lack thereof, right? So how do I reuse things in my business that I find to be useful without having to recreate the wheel every single time? And so we'll talk a little bit about that as well. The other thing that we hear consistently from customers is, why isn't there a solution, a platform that really is one unified data and analytics solution? And that is ultimately what we hear from a lot of our customers, and really is in many ways the golden opportunity and the holy grail of what data and analytics is all about, which is making better decisions and taking action within your business. And so, as I mentioned, we've been on this evolution. We are, working together very closely and getting closer to the Salesforce core platform, things like Einstein 1 and the data cloud. And ultimately what that, brings us to is the moment where we are now, which is the moment that we are able to launch the future of Tableau. And that future, I'm excited to say, is right now. And what we are launching today is the future, which is called Tableau Einstein. And so Tableau Einstein is really the next generation of Tableau. And we're going to talk about it in detail today and show you, of course, more of what it means, what it looks like, what the experiences feel like, and get some feedback as well. And so as I dive a little further here, I want to just highlight a few things. So when you look at some of those problems I articulated before that we hear are challenges from our customers, we talk about the fact that insights are overlooked. And obviously one of the things that's already available today are some of the great AI-powered tools thanks to our Einstein 1 platform, things like Tableau Pulse or Pulse for Salesforce or Einstein Copilot for Tableau. These are things that are already available to you. As we move to the right, you see things like, how are we solving this problem around trusted data? Well, it's with new products that we'll be talking to you about today called Einstein Semantics. And this is a very unique environment and a unique situation that I think we can solve these problems. And we'll talk a little bit more about it here shortly. And then around the data fragmentation and the fact that companies need real-time cloud scale data, well, we're going to solve that because we're built with the data cloud, the Salesforce data cloud, the ability to help harmonize and really bring all of your data together in a unified way is a key part of how we will deliver Tableau Einstein. And then around reusability, well, wouldn't it be great if we had a composable architecture and a marketplace with reusable components for internal access, right? Let's say within your company, you want to have an internal marketplace of your best prep flows or semantic models or dashboards and visualizations. Or maybe you're an individual user and you want to publish those externally and you want to monetize those things for other people to take advantage of. And so this really is, when I think about what we are trying to solve, some of the ways we're doing that. And if I sort of wrap a bow around all of this, it really comes down to what we are delivering, which is much more than just helping people to see and understand their data. It is also to see and understand and act on their data to get this AI-powered, real-time data and analytics solution that ultimately will be delivered wherever it is you do work. That is all, as I said before, delivered on and in combination with our Salesforce Einstein 1 platform. And I'm just very excited about it today. And we're going to turn now over to Southard, who's going to go a little bit more in detail. So Southard, welcome.
Thank you, Ryan. And I am equally excited to delve into detail on Tableau Einstein. Thank you for the nice intro. Before I jump into more about Tableau Einstein, I wanted to reflect back on some of the comments that Ryan just made and even maybe even further back. And that is, if you think about what, whatever the thousands of people that are on this webinar who are in the BI analytics industry are trying to do, and even 25 years ago we were trying to do, is we wanted to give an insight to a person so they could take an action that would drive a better outcome, whether or not they were running a nonprofit or they were in a school or they were running a business. They wanted to use an insight from data that they could use to take some action and drive something better for their organization. And that's what we're still trying to do with Tableau Einstein. Here we are 25 years later. I'd say we've made some of our journey along that way, and we've talked about it. You see the fourth wave, So I'm going to jump into more detail about that, but even our first pillar that you saw Ryan talk about, Pulse and Einstein Copilot for Tableau, is an example of that. And talk a little bit more about how Pulse works. What's happening under the covers is what we're trying to do is deliver a really very tailored, personalized insight to a specific individual about a metric they care about, a metric maybe they're hired and fired on, or it changes the outcome of their business. But not only just tell them the metric has changed, but why it has changed. And that requires both predictive AI and generative AI. And it's under the covers. And we're not yelling and screaming about AI because it's cool, but because it gives a user something they didn't have before, a proactive insight and explanation, and then the ability to ask a question so they can get an insight. That's different than what other BI tools have provided in the past. Other BI tools are great at providing visualizations and such dashboards, but we need to be proactive, and that is step one in Pulse. And then we look at Einstein Copilot for Tableau, again, a little bit under the covers on what's happening. It's helping someone who first gets started with Tableau to understand how to use the platform. So it's not a, let me just go ask questions of data. You can do that, but it's let me ask questions and get coached on how to build visuals on that data. And that, again, is unique and different. So our approach towards AI is about leveraging the power of AI to help with analysts and business users get those AI insights in their flow of work. To make them trusted, we are going to be unveiling something called Einstein semantics that Ryan mentioned. And a semantic layer, you can think of as the translation layer between the raw, messy data in your databases, in your spreadsheets, in your applications, all across your organization, and then the actual business language that we speak. Business people talk in metrics and hierarchies and dimensions, and we don't talk in column names and things of that nature. So how do we make that translation layer? That's what the semantic layer provides. And semantic layers have been around in BI for quite some time. So we're doing a couple of unique things here. We're going to be leveraging, again, both predictive and generative AI to look into that messy data. That's all around the organization, whether or not it's in Databricks or in Snowflake or in an on-premise Teradata instance or in the Tableau Einstein platform or in Data Cloud. That's somewhat doesn't matter. But look inside that, run AI models on that, and come back and help explain that insight that you might not have ever seen before in a business language. And that will be explained to the analyst as well as to the business user. And that's a unique ability of the semantic layer. The second thing we're going to be doing is we're going to superpower the analyst with what they already had, which is the ability to create metrics rapidly. We're going to help them suggest them. We're going to create hierarchies, enable them to get to insights even faster than before. And that is the freedom and agility they all demand. At the same time, we're going to give the chief data officer, the data stewards, the governance experts, the ability to certify certain semantic models that will be trusted by all so that you will always know where your data came from, full lineage, and that you can trust it. Bringing those two worlds together, we're going to be doing, and that'll be unique in the market. Matthew's going to demonstrate how we do that here in a second. I think you're going to find it quite cool. And that is all built leveraging the power of Data Cloud. And I like to think of Data Cloud as a data fluidity platform. What does that mean? Data Cloud is about providing you access to data across your organization. We're not trying to suck data into Data Cloud. Instead, what we like to do is reach all the places where data is. We can connect to Databricks, Snowflake, GCP, any of those through what's called Zero Copy, a technology that we helped bring to market with those wonderful partners so that you can see the data in the different platforms without moving it. And that's important. The minute you move data, things get hard. So we're not going to be moving that data. We also have live query generated on-premise sources. We have connectors to hundreds of different applications. But it's not just about getting access to the data. What I'm showing you here is a view of something called a workspace. It's a new concept in Tableau Einstein that gives you the full lineage from your data sources up through your prep flows into those semantic models we're creating business language up to the visualization and ultimately, not shown in this picture, but you'll see here in a minute in the demo, an action that you would take on that data. And this is a way for an analyst to really understand and capture that analytical pipeline that drives value. Not only that, this workspace provides us the ability to allow you to package up components of your analytical pipeline and publish them for rework. So imagine if I could just pick maybe just the components on the left side of the screen and package them up and publish them somewhere. Well, that's exactly what we're going to be doing with, we'll call it an analytical app dev marketplace. You can think of an analytical app as a set of analytical pipelines. And we're going to allow you and anyone out there to package up different components, whether or not it's a semantic model in a viz or your full flow or just a viz, and publish that for reuse so others in your organization from the internal marketplace could do it. Or if you'd like, you can package that up and publish it into Tableau Public like you can do today, and give it away and inspire people, as many have done today. And you can also monetize it if you'd like. And that is a way to extend Tableau Public. Tableau Public has created inspiration for millions, and we are so excited to help inspire more to create that inspiration, but also provide folks a way to build a business, leveraging their amazing skills. So we are 25 minutes into our webinar, and you've all been waiting. Okay, when am I going to see the product? Well, now you get to see the product, and I'm really excited to introduce Matthew Miller, none better than Matthew, to help you see the future of Tableau. Matthew, take it away.
Thank you, Southard, and hello, everyone. And I've got a hot take for you. I think the future of data and analytics will feel maybe so much like analytics at all. You'll just do your job so much better than before, and everyone will ask, what's your secret? And you'll tell them, I use Tableau. So we are so delighted to unveil the future of Tableau, our bold vision for intelligent, actionable analytics in the flow of work. So let's jump in. Oh, hey, it's a notification. What's Tableau trying to tell me? Well, in this story, I'm playing a retail general manager named Samantha, you can call me Sam, working for Northern Trail Outfitters. I'm responsible for running a healthy business in a tough economy with thin margins. And this digest that has been proactively pushed to me has everything I need at my fingertips. An easy to understand summary of my most important metrics. And right at the top are AI-powered prioritized insights, so I know where to focus. Inventory forecast is down, and I got to do something about it, but digital mentions are up. So let's drill in. And right away, I've got everything I need to know when I need to know it. We're going to run out of stock. Tableau has automatically forecast the future and let me know of a risk before it's happened. And again, right at my fingertips, expected ranges, rate of change, beautifully visualized and easy to understand. And my first question is naturally, why? What's causing this? Suggested questions help you ask the right thing and take the right next action. And look at that. There's already an insight. With one tap, we get that answer. It looks like certain products are selling more than others. And in certain cases, some are getting quite low. And we're guided to the next right question. Let's break it down by region. Though we can drill down in any way we want. We just tap break down by region. And just like that, we get to the next level of insight, bringing our human intelligence, our hunches about maybe there's something regional here with artificial intelligence. So that's interesting. We have sufficient stock, just not in the right markets where these products are moving fast. So we've got to do something about it. And normally we'd have to go to some other system and sign in somewhere and figure out how to make this change. And meanwhile, we risk losing business. So we've seen and understood the data, but often we're helpless to do anything about it, as Southard and Ryan both spoke to. Well, thanks to Tableau Einstein, we can submit that change request right here. And as you'll hear in the conversation later as well, taking action from data is how we translate insights into value. And we can take that right next action immediately. And just like that, I've made the request in my ERP, whether that's SAP, Microsoft, Oracle, any external system. There's no time for lag in today's economy. We got to act right away. So we tap submit request, we put out the fire, awesome. Now it's time to root cause. Like, what caused this? So Sam can just ask in her own words, the way she'd ask any colleague, what's driving the unexpected surge in demand? Tableau Einstein shows her that low inventory is correlated to something you might not expect, to social media mentions. That's a fascinating insight, and it's made possible through metric relationships in Tableau. But the future of analytics, it's collaborative, it's multiplayer. In fact, it's always been collaborative. It's just been too hard to do that. Sam wants to confirm what she's seeing in the data. Is this a spurious correlation or something more meaningful? So Tableau Einstein makes it possible to take a different form of action, connecting her directly to a colleague with the expertise to help her figure that out. So let's take a look at that. We'll connect over, and now I'm going to take on the role of Kyle, a brilliant marketing analyst who gets this request and picks up right where Sam and Tableau left off. Now, this is no screenshot. This is a fully interactive Tableau visualization with the context provided by Sam and all the data and visualization just where she got to. So Kyle replies and engages and said, okay, that's interesting. I have a hunch that maybe influencers have something to do with this. So let's do a little bit of quick analysis and see if indeed my hunch is correct. That's that human intuition, artificial intelligence working together. and I can't wait to show you this. Kyle goes in and clicks Explore in Tableau. And here we are. If you've used Tableau before, you'll immediately find this familiar. We've brought forward the brilliance of all of Tableau's game-changing fluid analytical experiences. All the components that Tableau users are familiar with, and I've been using Tableau now nearly 13 years, so I'm very familiar. The marks card, columns and row shelves, pages shelf, filter shelf, dimensions, measures, blue pills, green pills, discrete, continuous. There might even be a null island somewhere. That's an inside joke. That means that for the millions of Tableau users today, there's nothing to relearn. We've been listening to you, and this new experience is deeply rooted in your feedback. So Kyle's got this hunch that influencer posts and sentiment increase demand. So we look at our data, we've got some interesting dimensions here, but we don't have a measure for sentiment. So how do we add that to our model? Wait a minute, what's that up here? A workspace. That's right, introducing the new Tableau workspace. I feel like I should just pause because this is an enormous new thing, a whole new experience we've worked very hard on and with many of you. It's a fresh new experience for collaborating on analytics in one place. In one place, everyone can work together on the components in an expansive linked canvas. One spot to access all the tools you need, from data sources secured and trusted, prep flows, semantic models, visualizations, metrics, dashboards, you name it. And this lineage view helps you understand how they all work together. It's a huge time saver as you're partnering with data engineers and design experts, all working in one place. And I don't even have time to show you the new Tableau prep. I think we might be showing more of that at Dreamforce, so tune in then. Now check this out. Kyle's leveraging an existing model, and even though he can't change it, there's governance at work, he can go and extend it. So you've got self-service paired up with governance. It's governed and ad hoc together. So he jumps into his new derived version of that model. This is a little bit like grabbing a published data source today in Tableau and adding your own calcs in a workbook, but a way, way better and more scalable model, particularly around collaboration. It's composable, reusable, and extensible. So as Kyle opens his model, he sees that Tableau Einstein has recommended the creation of a sentiment metric. That's exactly what he needs. AI is guiding him to the right tool for the job. So he clicks review, and on the right, he sees the Einstein Copilot for Tableau panel, which some of you have seen if you've played with and experienced the beta for Einstein Copilot for Tableau. Well, that goes GA tomorrow, so check that out. Our vision for this is this constant intelligent companion partnering with you in the work that you're doing. And it's just a couple of clicks. That's exactly what he needs. He's updated his model. He's right back into the flow of analysis. Now check it out on the left with his new influencer sentiment metric. Now, I could drag and drop, but there's something new here going on. And I know many of you love Show Me and Explain data, the patented innovations in Tableau for finding key drivers and for heuristic recommendations of visualizations. None of that's going away. We have evolved that, though, into this new Insights panel that combines heuristic recommendations for visualizations and analysis with artificial intelligence. It's amazing. So this suggests that, indeed, now that I've got sentiment in here, maybe we should look at the correlation between sentiment and digital mentions. And there is a strong correlation, but our hunch was around influencers. So now let's go bring in that influencer ID and put that on detail. And now, sure enough, you can see that there's a handful of these influencers who are making a tremendous impact on sentiment and mentions. Awesome. So let's see if we can focus in on those. We're going to select those. We'll select those influencers. We'll see in our tooltip that there's 26 of them representing a certain number of digital mentions. And we can do view data, keep and exclude, etc., as we have before. But there's something new here. We can publish this as a segment. A segment is effectively a set, a feature that's been around in Tableau forever. When I was learning Tableau a long time ago, I was told the set is the most powerful feature in Tableau. It took me a while until I understood it and believed it. Well, sets let you, and segments let you define a custom group, either a dynamic group or a static group, that you can use elsewhere in your analysis. But the challenge has always been those were local, just to a data source or even just to a viz. Well, now we can take that segment and we can publish it at the data layer and reuse it in all kinds of new ways. So we'll grab the followers here so we can do some follow-up. But first, we got to circle back to Sam. Sam and I were chatting on Slack, and she'd done some analysis with Tableau Einstein. Let's go back and share what we found. We just grab copy link. We'll go back into Slack, and we'll share that. Hey, turns out top influencers with the highest sentiment are indeed driving a lot of digital mentions. That's probably what's causing this spike. Sam's got a good idea. Maybe there's something we can do here. Can we target them with a campaign? Kyle's like, I am on it. So now what we're going to do is jump in and show you how we can leverage that in all new ways. We're going to take some action directly from this. What you're looking at here is Data Cloud. And Data Cloud is the data platform that Southard mentions that powers Tableau, Einstein, and all of Salesforce. By making segments available here at this layer, we can use them more than just for analysis, because we often use the analysis to identify those segments, and we want to use them in other applications. Well, Salesforce applications and any application whatsoever. Drill into that segment, we can see that that reaches a population of about 3.5 million followers. We want to do something right from here, and I'll show you an example. We want to go and target those and see if we can take advantage. See, we had a problem. We were running out of inventory on specific items due to these digital mentions. Well, we solved the short-term risk of a stock out, but actually this is a good problem to have. We want to double down and run a campaign to reach these influencers' audiences. So we'll set that up and put that in motion. And then we'll imagine we jump forward a couple of days. Let's take a look at what that would look like now to see the results of that campaign. And if this looks a little bit familiar, you may recognize this is the convergence of some of the capabilities of CRM analytics with Tableau. You have the ability to connect to any data anywhere and embed this in any application, consumable anywhere, providing rich analysis. We'll jump in to look at positive segment. We can see here's our campaign. So we've got Tableau analysis seamlessly integrated right alongside my campaigns. And when I drill in, there's a Tableau pulse metric right alongside the campaign details. It's intelligent, actionable analytics infused everywhere. And Sam can easily follow this metric to follow the progress of the campaign. Whew, I'm actually, believe it or not, running on time for once. And that's awesome because we've covered a lot of ground here and we've got a little bit more to go. We've covered everything from actionable experiences, zero friction collaboration, an expansive canvas for analytics, intelligent reusable modeling. Whew, I think there's one thing we didn't cover, right, Southard? I think that was dashboarding. Well, let's take a look. Well, I guess we're short on time, and this is a sneak preview after all, so you'll have to tune into Dreamforce to see our vision for a completely reimagined dashboarding experience. But I do have one more thing to show you before we go. What about sharing? What about community? What about collaboration internally and externally? Well, we have heard you, and so we're delighted to preview for you the new Tableau Marketplace, leveraging the expertise of others, sharing and reusing, not reinventing the wheel. So let's imagine that Kyle wants to take this amazing analysis and semantic model of the work that he's done and make it available to others, internally or externally. He selects Publish to Marketplace and selects the assets that he wants to share. That's our digital mentions model and the digital mentions and sentiment visualizations. We've heard this from customers for years. Make it easier for us to package and reuse and leverage the work of others. This is our expansion on the vision for Tableau Public, which was always about sharing visualizations with anyone. This is sharing visualization, semantics, flows with anyone internally, externally, and in some fresh new ways. But before we share, we need to do a little bit of validation. And many of you are familiar with the workbook optimizer that's in Tableau today. We've taken that to the next level now with performance checks and data security checks and even accessibility checks, which I know many of you have asked for, before we share. So we'll run tests on those, make sure those are totally valid, that we're good to go. Next. And then we'll provide some metadata, a title for this new package, influencer, sentiment, and digital mentions. We'll give it an intelligent description so people can find it. And we'll, let's see here, create ad hoc segments to drive activations. And you can think of this kind of like GitHub as an analogy. If you're doing some development work, you often don't start from scratch. You go out to see what somebody else has built. Maybe you leverage their library or even extend or fork their code. Analytics is a lot the same way. I feel like we do reinvent the wheel sometimes, and very often there's someone else whose work can get you to the 5-yard line or the 5-meter line, depending on what Olympic sport you're playing. So Kyle gets this set up, picks a price because he decides to monetize this, though again, you can make these available for free, clicks publish, and just like that, he shared his content on the marketplace. The new influencer sentiment and digital mentions analytical app is packaged up and ready for anyone else to use. This isn't just dashboards or just visualizations. It's data, it's data models, it's sentiment, it's semantics, it's calculations, visualizations, an entire analytical app available that others can take, apply to their models, and use. And we have an amazing group of Tableau partners already working with us to build analytical apps on this new platform. We cannot wait to see what the community creates and shares on the new expanded Tableau Marketplace. And check out Kyle's profile with his solutions here. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Can we still share for free? Of course, absolutely. Is Tableau still about data visualization? Absolutely. I mean, you saw the same data visualization and authoring experience that made us legendary is still there at the core of everything we do, best practices for how to see and understand data. You're probably asking, can I use this internally? Many of you have asked for that forever, and we are doing that. We're building a private version that any organization can use internally. I think this is going to make it so much easier for everyone to scale the analytics that they're doing. So we've covered a ton in a short time, from intelligent, integrated analytical experiences to a completely refreshed and upgraded authoring and modeling experience with richer semantics, through to packaging, publishing, reuse, and sharing. Whew, that is a ton. But wait a minute, hold on. We got another insight from Tableau. Inventory forecast has returned to expected range. Awesome. We drill in and look at that. Like all good charts, everything's up and to the right. Our inventory has been fixed. Digital mentions are up. Sales are up. Fantastic. Maybe next I'll go explore the unstructured feedback data we're getting from our customers with product ideas. Well, thankfully, I've got Tableau Einstein to help me see and understand that data too, so I can take the right actions. I'll get right to work on that. Meanwhile, to see even more, tune into Dreamforce on September 17th at 4:15 p.m. Pacific, or join us in person in San Francisco. Back to you, Southard.
Matthew, that was awesome. Wonderful demonstration, as I said before. Only you could nail that the way you did. So thank you so much. And I know a number of folks out there probably have 1,000 questions about what about this and how can I do this and all the rest of the things that I was wondering this all along the way. And the answer to that question is yes, come to Dreamforce. And I'll try to answer a little bit here in the next 2 minutes. I'm going to try to talk about how it works. And there's no way I can do this justice in a few minutes, but I do want to give folks a little insight of what's underneath the covers. And so as we're building the Tableau Einstein platform, and Ryan talked about this at the beginning, folks want one solution to handle the challenges from raw data through preparation, through insights, to engagement, to acting. They also want it to fit well with inside of their existing data and analytics and AI topology. So one of the key tenets of what we built here is openness. And that is that at any point along this, and I'll talk through this section here, this life cycle, you can insert, pull in, and pull out other solutions, if you will. But let me talk through this. So on the left, you see sources, and with the power of Data Cloud, we can connect to many, many different sources. We talked about that. We saw that in the demo. Petabytes of data, streaming data in real time, coming from things like social media, unstructured data. And many of your data might already be in, as I mentioned before, one of these cloud warehouses. And we uniquely offer something called zero copy, where your data views of that data can appear in Tableau Einstein without you having to move that data. So all of your existing investments that you've already built, the pipelines you've built, the structures you've built, those things can be leveraged instantly with Tableau Einstein. And yes, of course, you can still do live queries. And yes, of course, you can still extract data and use it for rapid analysis. But as you see, we provide all the capabilities in terms of preparing, modeling, unifying, and contextualizing through semantics. The arrows you see there are because we want to accelerate that. You saw examples of that in Matthew's demo when Einstein suggested a metric, or Einstein is suggesting ways to leverage certain visualizations. Clearly, from someone who wants to build it out from scratch, they can, but we want to accelerate that path from that raw data to the business insight. So that's where we're leveraging AI throughout this entire platform, and each step along the way to be the helper, assistant, and accelerant for the folks who are doing a lot of the work here. And then you see within the answer and engage steps that it's about providing rapid insights, real-time queries, in-memory queries. Yes, we're leveraging the Hyper Engine, a beefed up version of the Hyper Engine, absolutely. And the engagement layer, which, and Matthew gave you a little teaser that we do have a brand new dashboarding capability. We're excited to unveil that at Dreamforce. And you saw a lot of embedding. Our belief is that a lot of the insights do need to be placed where you're working. Obviously, they're going to be great inside of Salesforce and Slack, but we're building it in a way that it's going to be just as great inside of any application, whether that's Workday or Cooper and other applications that you're using, because we believe the insight needs to be delivered where you are. And yes, this Tableau Einstein built on the Einstein Web Platform will come with a built-in workflow engine, and not one from scratch, one that's been around for a long time, that has thousands of endpoints to any of your applications, so you can reach out and take action in SAP or Oracle or Coupa or Workday, whatever you wish. And obviously deeply integrated with collaboration tools. And then on the bottom there, you see something unique and different that we're doing. Tableau is if you will, that they brought to bear the idea of a personal place where you could go as an individual analyst and create analytics as fast as you could possibly work. And that was amazing. We're gonna beef that up and give you all that ability with everything you see above, but also the ability to share and promote content across a certified and governed space. So this concept of workspaces goes beyond an individual. It could be a team workspace, and then a governed, centralized one within a department or even an organization, enabling you to accelerate that development path, giving you the governance and the agility at the same time. I already talked too much about it. More and more to come when we unveil more and more at Dreamforce. And at this point, I'd love to turn it over to Ryan and Adam, who are going to give you a fresh take on this.
Very good. Thank you, Southard, and thank you, Matthew, for a fantastic overview and demo. So very exciting. And I'm also pleased to welcome Adam. Hello, Adam. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you so much for having me, Ryan.
Of course.
Doing great.
Yeah, for those of you who may not know Adam, so Adam is one of our amazing Tableau visionaries, has been giving us feedback. There you go. He's even got the shirt on, which is awesome. Also I think a Golden Hoodie award winner a couple of Dreamforces ago. So I just want to say thank you for being part of the community, giving us feedback. As I think we talked about in the beginning, the community is really at the heart of everything we do, and we really do value the feedback. And so kind of curious, like, tell us, you just saw some things. I know we've shown you some things along the way. I know you've given us feedback in all forms, but give us your first perspective on what you think, and maybe if there's anything you want, folks who are watching to know.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ryan. Yes, I am a tough critic sometimes, but also I try to focus on constructive criticism if things aren't right or need improvement. But there are so many great things here, and I'm so inspired. I just think it's a mind-blowing innovation for everyone and anyone. The amount of innovation that occurred since Tableau conference is just insane to me from what we're seeing now. Main thing here is end-to-end analytics, which is great. It's a struggle sometimes. I'm an engagement leader at work, and we work with Tableau, of course. And meeting users where they're at is a big wish and ask for pretty much anybody that's a stakeholder. They don't want to click on links to go to dashboards and so forth. So everything's right at your fingertips to meet you where you're at, and I think that's incredible. I love the modern UX here too. So everything that we've seen here in from workplace to marketplace, workspace rather, to marketplace, it just looks like something you want to play with and dig into. As a data nerd and somebody that may not be a data nerd, they may look at the aesthetics, they look at the approach and how cool everything looks, and you just want to dive in and play with it. So highlighting that user experience and making it more modern is something that is really great for the tool. The Gen AI integration, although it's talked about a lot and the AI integration is talked about quite a bit, here it's subtle. So it's not, you're not getting pounded over the head with AI integration or anything like that. It's there on your side and to help you when you need it. So sometimes you probably won't realize it's there, but it's like, maybe I need a boost or maybe I need a little bit supportive analytics and it's there. And the huge thing for me, and pretty much any modern platform like this, you do need a ton of cloud integration because that makes everything work much more seamlessly. And it's in one spot. So having a place like Workspace, for example, all in the cloud is just an incredible opportunity.
Very good. Well, we do appreciate the feedback sincerely, and I think we'll be collecting feedback from many of the community members along the way. So I do appreciate it. Curious, you've seen a little bit of Pulse. I know you've used it yourself, and
yep.
So far, based on your experience, anything you'd share, and or maybe any wish list things you want us to think about as we move forward.
So I see Tableau Pulse, and I was part of the beta group testing it as well at my workplace. And there are just a ton of potential use cases already. And even in its beta version, it's very accessible. You could find use cases very simply, and you don't have to learn Tableau. So utilizing legacy Tableau is great and fun if you're a data nerd and you love playing with Tableau, but not everybody has time or the desire to learn huge desktop application. So using Pulse metrics, especially if you're a subject matter expert, gives you an opportunity to use those, build something and share it with your stakeholders in about 5 minutes. And the best thing about Pulse metrics, at least for a governance perspective, you can have only one source of truth. So if you're using a data source and you're creating something with the same parameters, you can't save it because, and that's a great thing because there are so much things that are built, these assets, duplicate, and all that stuff. There's no governance, there's no way to catalog it, and it's just kind of the Tower of Babel. And in this case, you really don't have that. So I'm really, and the accessibility piece here is really awesome because although it would be things I would like to see as more opportunities to make updates and so forth with metrics, but overall, it looks great. It's very pleasing access, and then you don't have to go and dig too much once you get those Pulse metrics. The other piece is that there's a strong product roadmap. So we're seeing the roadmap as it develops. Those building blocks are really solid. And it's like when you first start playing with Pulse, what if it had this? What if it had this? Yeah, Tableau is hearing our feedback and putting all those things in. And right now, you could use Tableau Pulse right away and get something really impactful from it.
Very good. Well, I've learned at Salesforce, we want to be very focused on deep listening. So I think the more feedback, the better. And I say that to everyone listening. Maybe a slightly different question, which is, the Tableau mission ultimately has been, right, helping people see and understand data. And that is still very true to our core. I think obviously as we are part of Salesforce, there's this concept of taking action. And so it's, seeing and understanding and taking action. And I'm curious, how do you view that, the action component of it? Do you think it's as important as we talk about, or kind of what's your perspective kind of coming from your angle?
Great question. When you see and understand data, it's passive. There's no engagement, there's no sharing, there's no doing. You really need an action to really leverage that data and leverage those insights and make an impact in your business or whatever you're doing. If you're creating personal visits, you want to highlight those insights. So creating those actions, having that action piece in your data is so important, and highlighting that too, because you really need to build that engagement with your community. And when you're demonstrating with that action, other people want to participate as well. So they're going to want to do something, share their insights, and create a conversation around the data. So you don't get just a one note version of your data and insights. You have the opportunity to not only act on it, you can iterate on that data too. With more people making those conversations, more people are going to actively engage with the dashboards or metrics that you create. And besides that, you want to be a change maker. So creating an action and developing from an action is a great place to start if you really want to be a change maker in your organization.
Got it. Yeah, that's a really good point on the change maker. Maybe last question would be, coming from the analyst perspective, obviously we're in a new world. Things are changing quickly. Generative AI, go down the list of things that are kind of influencing and evolving, as I've talked about. How do you view the role of the analyst in terms of, is it changing? Is it not changing? Kind of what do you see, and again, this is a harder question, but like, what do you see happening right now that maybe people can learn from you?
Excellent question, Ryan. And this is a complicated question. I mean, a lot of people love Tableau the way it is and the way it was. I mean, when I joined this month as part of the Data Fam and on Tableau, on Twitter, and now it's X, and LinkedIn, I never wanted Tableau to change. I wanted to be part of everything that was, I wanted to maintain what it was, maybe add spell check, but not too many changes, maybe a couple boosts on maps and so forth. But there's a lot of change going on here, and it's changing so rapidly as we see. 10 years ago, if you showed this to anybody at a conference, I don't know what would have happened. They would have had no idea what was going on. But we have to move with the times. And with the generative AI, I've been really focused on that as well as Tableau for the past couple years now, or nearly a couple years on both. Love them both almost equally. Obviously, Tableau is my favorite, but utilizing Gen AI and knowing the impact it has. I build products for communities and at work as well with generative AI and work with it every day. I see the impact it has. And if you're doing it in a way where it's ethically sound and you build on trust, utilizing that generative AI, that's really going to make things easier and simplify the process and the learning curve for so many people. So with analysts, there's going to be more people creating stuff. So that's going to be a unique experience because more people have that opportunity to create. With Einstein Copilot, you could start from the beginning, help get some basic data visualizations out, nothing too fancy, and then pulse metrics and a number of other things that they could participate in. It frees you up from doing the less mundane work of creating tables and dashboards and so forth, where you could have somebody else do that, and you could focus on really making a dashboard sing. The other thing, too, I would mention, with generative AI, there's not going to be a lot of, I'm just going to do this one task, and that's going to be what I'm going to do for the next 40 years. You're going to have to learn how to multitask and learn something new to have a +1. So if you're a Tableau developer right now, a data analyst primarily focusing on that, you may not only want to learn generative AI, but you may want to learn other items too to help with the data pipeline, maybe product management, or maybe even enablement pieces to help people work and understand and take action on their data.
Yes, well said. And, you know, I think ultimately, like I said in the beginning, we're on a journey. We're evolving, and you know, it's really great to have such a strong partnership with our community and kind of be on that journey together. So Adam, I really appreciate you spending time with us, really, really sincerely. And I know we're going to have more opportunities to collaborate in the future and get your feedback. So thank you. And we're going to head into the next slide here and try to wrap up and be on time.
I do have one more thing, Ryan. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, of course.
But one way that people could really interact and learn about AI and Tableau is be part of our Tableau and AI user group. Yes. We have something coming up on August 22nd featuring Harbeen and Joe. They're going to be talking about Einstein Copilot and really leveraging that up to help people really get an understanding, get a better picture of what's going on there. And we're going to have a number of speakers coming up every other month or so to make sure that you're on this, we're on this journey with you, and we're going to help you skill up with us as we're all learning about generative AI and its impact with Tableau.
That's awesome. And the user groups are fantastic. So thank you actually for promoting that. And I'm sure there are many, many others that are happening on a global basis. So thank you again, Adam. And I'm going to move on to the last two slides. So what a great way to wrap, obviously, with Adam and getting some community feedback. I also want to invite you all, of course, we talked about this, to Dreamforce. It's coming up September 17th through the 19th. It's going to be amazing. And for that event, and obviously you're going to be able to learn a lot more about Tableau Einstein and a lot of other great things that we're doing at Salesforce. We're going to offer a 35% off discount for those of you who have watched the webinar here and innovation preview. And so please, please come on over to Dreamforce. If you can't make it in person, you can obviously join us online. We are going to also be talking more. You're going to get more hands-on opportunities, more in-depth demos, more customer stories. It'll be inspiring across the board, and also a really great way to learn about what's happening with the AI revolution that we are all in. We will also at that point talk a little bit more about how the technology will be rolling out, kind of starting at Dreamforce and then continuing on. So with that, I will say, of course, thank you from everyone at Salesforce and Tableau. And thank you to all of our people and employees who put this together today, to Adam and to the whole team. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you.